In this video of ours, we are going to learn about the population. Now, population, what is population? Population is the number of organisms of the similar species at a particular time and at a particular area, because population is related to the area and the time, because at one time there may be many members of one species and at another time there may be less numbers of the species, because the immigration and emigration is taking place most of the time. The members keep coming in or keep going out in that particular area. So today we will learn about what are the population attributes and what are the growth models. Population. So population is a group of similar individuals living in a geographical area, because population is as per the area. Population of Jaipur, population of Rajasthan, population of India, like that. It's not only population. Only population doesn't have any meaning. If you say that population is this, that doesn't mean anything, because with population, whenever you are discussing about population, whenever you are giving number of the organism of a particular species, you have to mention about the area, and at the same time you have to mention about the time also, because it keeps on changing. So it is a group of similar individuals living in a geographical area, sharing similar resources, because it is one area, so the resources available are same, and they are capable of interbreeding. That's why they are one species. Because what is species? Species is similar members which are capable of interbreeding under natural conditions. That is one species. And population is always of one species only. Now, population has certain attributes. Population has certain characteristics which individual organisms do not have. For example, for individual, we will say birth or death. But for population, we will say birth rate or death rate. So what is birth rate? Birth rate is per capita births. That means, what is per capita? Per capita is a Latin word which means per head. That means if you want to find out the birth rate of any particular area, of any particular population, then what you have to do is, you have to find out the total number of that organism, total number, and the number of birth during that time. So number of birth upon the total population, that would be the birth rate per capita. Similarly, the number of deaths upon total population, that would be the death rate per capita. Sex ratio. Sex ratio is ratio of the number of the males and females in a population. That means number of males per population, number of females per population. That would be the sex ratio. Now the age distribution is, what is age distribution? The population, the organisms are of different age groups. For example, take example of human beings. We human beings are of different age group. Some are young, some are children, some are young, some are old, and some are in the middle age. So that is the age distribution. So population can be composed of individuals of different age groups, and age distribution plot for a given population is given by an age pyramid. So when we are plotting a graph, when we are showing the age distribution of a particular species in a particular area by the way of a pyramid, that is called age pyramid. And seeing that age pyramid, we can find out whether this population is established, or this population is growing, or this population is declining. The structure of the age pyramid determines the growth status of the population. Looking at the age pyramid, we can find out that whether it is growing, or whether it is stable, or whether it is declining. So these three pyramids are given. This is the example of the age pyramid, which is expanding. Now in expanding, this is yellow color is for pre-reproductive human beings. Pre-reproductive human beings means the human beings, the young boys and girls who have not yet attained puberty. And then this is the reproductive, blue is the reproductive, and then post-reproductive. After the attainment of, after the completion of the reproductive period. That means once the menopause is attained in the females, once the male is not that fertile, so that is called post-reproductive. And this is reproductive, where the members are reproductively active. So if we see this age pyramid, in expanding one, you will find the pre-reproductive are more in number, then the reproductive, and post-reproductive are less. So that means they are expanding, because pre-reproductive are more, so the population will increase. And if it is a stable one, then in this age pyramid you will find approximately same number of pre-reproductive and reproductive, and lesser number of post-reproductive. So it is almost a stable type of population, where there will not be any increase or not be any decrease. Not the very high number of increase, number in increase, or high number of decrease would not be seen in this stable population. And one is declining. In this declining, you will find pre-reproductive are less in number than the reproductive one. So reproductive are more and pre-reproductive are less. So this population is declining population. That means here the size of the population is on the declining trend. That means the number of members of the organism, the number of members of the species are in decreasing day by day. This is the age pyramid, which is showing declining population. So these are the three age pyramids. These are showing the growth status. So age pyramids are used to see the growth status of any population. Now population size, more technically, is referred to as population density. Now suppose we don't have to count the number always, because density is more practical term, more technically referred to as if we are talking about population, because this is the number which is showing the number of individuals inhabiting a particular niche. Niche is what? The place where the organism is surviving, with the place which is safe for him and his family and his offsprings, and the place where he is getting the food. So that place where he is comfortable. Habitat and niche is slightly different. Habitat is a vast area in which there is a niche for every population. For example, forest is the habitat, but for the lion. But what is the niche? Niche is the lion, where the lion stays. The lion cubs are there, and the den is there, and the water resources are there. So that area where the resources are available for the lion and its family to survive, and he is reproducing well. So that is called niche. So inhabiting in a particular niche, we have to, population size is technically referred to as population density. Because every time we cannot find the number of organisms, we cannot, it's practically not possible, because if you want to count the number of tigers in the forest or the number of lions, then you don't have to go and count each and every lion and tiger. What they are doing is, the census people, they are counting the pug marks, they are seeing the excretory material, and through that they will find out that what would be the population density. So if the population is huge, then relative density is measured. If there is a huge population, suppose Suppose there is a pond, and in that pond there are lot many fish, but you don't have to go and count each and every fish to find out the number of population. What you can do is put the net, take out the fish trap, and number of fish in per catch, per trap, you can find out the density. So that is the relative density, because the population is huge. So if the population is huge, the relative density is measured instead of absolute density. So we don't measure the absolute density, we measure only the relative density. And with the help of the relative density, we can find out that this much must be the population of the fish in this pond, or this must be the population of the tiger in this forest, by using the marks, pug marks, by using the excreta, by using the different signs. So this is all relative density, wherein we are not going to count each and every organism. Now we will see what are the growth models, how the population is growing. The population, how the population is growing? By the births. And how the population is decreasing? By death. So four factors are there: birth, death, immigration, and emigration. And these four factors decides whether the population is growing or whether the population is declining. So the size of the population is an ever-changing aspect, because it depends on the area, it depends on the time, and it depends on the availability of food. It depends on the weather conditions, whether the weather conditions are conducive or not, whether there is availability of food for all the members of this population or not, and predation. Suppose there is a population of deer, so deer is what? Prey. And suppose there is increase in the population of predators, that is lion. So what will happen? The population of deer will decrease. So the population, the size of the population is an ever-changing aspect. We cannot say that this is the population and it will remain like that only. That's why there is census regularly, because we have to know the number after every regular period of time. It is not a constant number. So this size of population of any species is an ever-changing aspect, because it depends upon availability of food, it depends upon predation, it depends upon weather conditions, it depends upon the area, and it depends upon the time. Now, this gives us an idea whether a certain population is growing or declining. By looking at the number, we can say whether the population is growing or declining. If the number of predators are more now, the population will be declining, because lions are more, so the population of deer has to go down. So it depends on predator and prey relationship. It depends on the weather conditions. Suppose the weather conditions are not conducive, extreme weather conditions are there, too hot, too cold, then also the organism will die, because those who will not be able to cope with the changing environment condition, changing weather conditions, they will die, and that will reduce the number of population. So some of the reasons for the increase or decrease in the population is natality. Now what is natality? Natality is the number of births, and it is noted by B. B means birth. Number of births during a given period in a given population. So in birth also we have to take care of time and area in the given population. Number of births, that is called natality. Mortality. Mortality is number of deaths during a given period in the given population. What is the number of death which has occurred in that particular time? Then there is immigration. Immigration is members of the same species who have come into the habitat. Suppose if we are concerned about the population of Jaipur, so in 1 year or in 1 month, suppose we are taking 1 month's time, So in that 1 month period, many human beings must have come from outside also into the Jaipur. That is immigration, because they were not residing in Jaipur. They have come from outside. So number of the individual of the same species who have come into the habitat from elsewhere during a given period. So that is called immigration. So immigration is also adding up to the population. And then there is emigration. Like the many people have come to the Jaipur, many of the persons have gone out of the Jaipur also. So those who have gone out of the Jaipur, that is emigration. So number of individuals of the same species. A species would remain same always when we are considering population, because population is only one species. So number of individuals of the same species who have left the habitat and gone elsewhere during a given period. So that is called emigration. The population density. So this is showing a particular area and the population density is n. Suppose the population density is n. Now this n depends on what? Natality, number of births. So positive sign, because the number of births will increase the density. And immigration. Immigration is the members of the same species who have come from outside to that particular area. So they will also increase the density. So plus sign. Now from this population, some members must have died. So that is mortality, death. So this mortality will decrease the density, negative sign. And then there is emigration. Some members must have gone outside from this area. So that is emigration, and this will also decrease the density. So population density is depending on 4 factors: natality, immigration, mortality, emigration. Natality is increasing the density, immigration increasing the density, mortality will decrease the density, and emigration will also decrease the density. N is the population at time t. We have taken any time, suppose that is t. Then the density at t plus 1. That means from t to some other time is nt plus 1 is equal to nt plus b plus I. What is b? Birth, number of births. And what is I? Immigration. So natality and immigration minus mortality and emigration. So this is the population at time t. If the n is the at time t, and then what would be the population at t plus 1? T plus 1, the population would be whatever it was earlier, that is at t, plus the number of births and the immigration, that is b plus I, minus deaths and emigration. So this is the population density at t plus 1. Clear? So the changes in the population takes place by natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. Now we will see what are the growth models. Now the growth models are of 2 types: exponential and logistic. Now exponential means when the resources are unlimited, means everything is available for growth. Then what will happen? The population will grow at an exponential pattern. There is no barrier. There is no competition. There is no scarcity of any resource. Then what will happen? The population will grow, and it will grow in an exponential pattern. And if the population size is n, and the birth and death rates are b and d respectively, then increase or decrease in n at t, that is the time period, is dn upon dt. N is the density, population density at time t would be B minus D into N. So what is B minus D? The birth minus death. Birth rate minus death rate. And this birth rate minus death rate is called R. What is a small r? Small r is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. That means whenever there are ample resources, the density number would be only depending on the birth rate and the death rate. And this is intrinsic rate of natural increase. The naturally, what is the increase in the population? And that is called R. And what is R? R is B minus D. So we can say that dN upon dt is equal to Rn. Or if you logarithm, if you see in the calculus this thing, nt is equal to n0 ERT. What is this? Nt is the population density at time t. N0 is the population density at time 0, that means the earlier time, and R is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. And what is E? E is the base of natural logarithm, 2.71828. So this is the mathematical calculation. By calculus, you can find out that this would be the population density at time t. Now the second type of growth, that is the logistic growth. First of all, we'll see the graph of the exponential growth. See, this is the graph of the exponential growth, the J-shaped graph. Now what will happen here? This is the population density and this is the time. And resources are plenty. There is no scarcity of resources. So what will happen? The growth will be exponential. And this growth will keep on increasing. The density will keep on increasing. And this is called the J-shaped. The J-shaped graph will be formed. dN upon dt will be Rn. Intrinsic, this is the natural increase, intrinsic factor of natural increase, which is birth minus death rate. Now the second type, because in practice, in practical, in nature, the resources are not available in plenty. There is a scarcity of resources and there is competition for the resources. So the populations are not growing at the exponential rate. The populations are growing at the logistic rate. And that is called the logistic growth, when the resources are limited, leading to competition between individuals, and there comes the survival of the fittest. Because the Darwin said it is the survival of the fittest. Whoever is fit to survive in the nature will live, and whoever is not fit will not be fit. Now you all are competing for a NEET exam, but all of you are not going to get a place in good medical colleges. Why? Because only who are studying very hard, who are working regularly, they will find the seat there. So as far as the seat in the medical college is concerned, what is the fitness? Fitness is your ability to learn, your ability to do hard work for the subject. So that is the fittest. But for the Darwin point of view, the fittest was who are reproductively mature, who are reproducing and increasing their population. They are the fittest. So in logistic growth, when the resources are limited, leading to competition between individuals, the survival of the fittest, the population tends to grow in a logistic manner. And what is this logistic manner? Here, what will you find in this kind of growth? There is an initial lag phase. Lag phase means not very high, lag phase, slow phase, followed by acceleration. There will be acceleration and deceleration phases, and finally asymptote when it reaches its carrying capacity. Now, for carrying capacity, suppose in biolab, suppose I will call 50 of you, 50 students, okay, they can come and sit. If I'm calling 100, it would not be possible for 100 students to sit in the biology lab, because the carrying capacity of biology lab is maybe 50 or 55. So that is the carrying capacity, the maximum capacity of that area. So if the maximum capacity is reached, then there will be no scope for the other members to come. So that is called carrying capacity, which is denoted by K. So when N in relation to T, N is what? Population density, and T is the time, is plotted, it results in a sigmoid curve. When it is logistic growth, then the curve you will get is not J shaped, it will be S shaped, and that is sigmoid curve. And this is called Verhulst-Perl logistic growth. And here you will find dn upon dt is not Rn like in the exponential growth. Here you will have K minus N upon K. K is the carrying capacity, the maximum capacity, and this is the population density. So K minus N upon K. N is the population density at time T. R is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. K is the carrying capacity. So here you will find this sigmoid growth. What will happen here? First you will see a lag phase, and then the acceleration, and then asymptote. Asymptote means it will become constant. After that it will not increase because the sources are limited. The carrying capacity has reached. Once the 50 students are in the bio lab, other students cannot come in. So that is carrying capacity. So in nature also, once the carrying capacity is reached, this is K. This is K. So once this carrying capacity is reached, it cannot grow further. And then it becomes asymptotic. And this is the sigmoid curve which we get in logistic growth model. And this is J-shaped curve which we get in exponential growth model. Exponential growth model, you must have heard about that story, the king and his minister. So the king said, you ask whatever you want if you win. So he said, okay, you just double the grain of the wheat in every square of the chessboard. So 64 squares, and he said, okay, 1, then 2 wheat, then 4, then 8, then 16. And you won't believe that the king was not able to give his minister that much of wheat grains, because when the exponential growth is there, it is a explosion. So it is uncontrollable growth, and that is not practical. So in nature, practically the growth which is taking place is logistic growth. It is giving the sigmoid curve because the resources are limited. The carrying capacity is limited. That's why you will find the limited number variations. How the fitness increases or decreases. What are the life history variations? Population tend to increase their reproductive fitness in order to survive better, because Darwin said survival of the fittest. That means those who are having good reproductive capability, those who are reproductively fit, they will increase in number, because there the R value would be more. What is R? R is birth minus death, birth rate minus death rate. So R is, when the R is more, the population tend to increase. So some of the trends they follow in course of achieving this is, some organisms breed only once in their lifetime. In their whole life, they breed only once. For example, salmon and bamboo. So they are breeding only once in their lifetime. Then there are other members of the living world who breed many times. For example, birds and mammals. So they naturally are having more reproductive fitness. Birds and mammals, they breed many a times. So they don't have any breeding season. They breed many a times in a year. Then some produce a large number of small sized offspring. Means they are producing, the number is more, but the size of offspring is small. For example, oyster. Then some are producing large number, but some are producing the small number, but the offspring are of large size. For example, mammals and birds. Like human beings, the offsprings are large size. Human beings are large size, but the number is small. So the number is small and of size is large. So these are the four reproductive variations which are present in the living world. Some organisms, they breed only once in their lifetime. Some breed anytime, many times, and some breed, some are giving offspring which are large in number but small in size, and some are giving offspring which are small in number but large in size. So these are the variations in reproductive fitness.